I get into discussions and debates with people all the time, especially on the subject matter of Wicca and witchcraft and paganism in general. I've discovered there is two types of people. Those who are open for discussion and bring true food for thought to the table, and those that are ego-driven and attention strivers and basically just say, it is because I said so. And they have no logic or facts backing them. I heard a very wise statement recently that says something along the lines of, if you enter a debate or discussion with a person who has created the subject matter without logic, then there's no point in bringing logic to the table and the discussion as the other side, because the person who is debating without logic will never see the logic you're trying to propose. Arguing, or let's call it debating, is something we do all the time, whether it's about what's the best occult philosophy, is witchcraft a religion or practice, or even something more global such as biological sex versus transgenderism in today's society. The cool part about debating is that it gives everyone a chance to express their thoughts and maybe even change someone's mind. But here's the thing. If you want to be good at it, you have to use logic. If one person doesn't, the whole debate gets stuck. So why is logic your best friend in a debate or discussion? Logic is like the secret weapon in your debate toolbox. It helps you build your argument and check if they make sense. If someone decides they don't want to use logic, it's like trying to play a video game without the controls working. It doesn't matter how good your gaming skills are, if the controls aren't responding, you're not going to get anywhere. Logic is like the brain's rulebook for figuring stuff out. It's like the detective of thinking, helping us solve mysteries or puzzles by making connections that make sense. When you're using logic, you're breaking things down into bits and pieces and then putting them together in a way that makes total sense. There are three types of logic you might have heard of: deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is like being a detective with a clear lead. You start with a general clue and work your way down to the specifics. For example, if you know all dogs bark, general clue, and you have a dog, specific clue, then you can logically conclude that your dog barks. Inductive reasoning is like being a detective who notices patterns and makes predictions based on those patterns. Let's say you've noticed that your bus arrives at your stop around 7:30 a.m. every day. This is an observed pattern. So you can guess that it'll arrive around the same time tomorrow. This is a prediction. It's not a sure thing, but it's likely. Abductive reasoning is like being a detective trying to solve a case with very little evidence. You're taking a good guess based on what little you have. For instance, if you wake up to find the pavement outside wet, a clue, you might guess that it rained while you were asleep, a guess. So logic is the tool your brain uses to make sense of things, makes decisions, and come up with answers to problems. It's a big part of what you're doing when you're thinking critically about something, whether it's a math problem, a debate topic, or a real-life mystery. So now we have people who enter debates with no logic whatsoever, and they just basically say, because I said so. But that just doesn't cut it. You can't take a scenario that is plain as day logically in front of you and then make it a new reality because you feel like today is a good day to create a non-reality or an extreme situation that has no logic, sense, or facts backing it. For instance, in my opinion, you can't wake up one day and say you're a fish and lo and behold, you're now a fish. It doesn't work this way, and in reality it's quite dangerous, especially if you decide to try and breathe underwater without the use of scuba gear or something like it. Now imagine this, you're in a debate and the other person doesn't use any logic. They just keep saying they're right because they say they are. It's like that annoying younger sibling who insists they didn't eat your last piece of chocolate even when they've got chocolate smeared all over their face. No matter how many times you point out the chocolate on their face, they keep denying it. That's what it's like to argue with someone who doesn't use logic. You could have the best arguments in the world, but if the other person isn't listening or using logic themselves, you're not going to get anywhere. It's like talking to a brick wall. Debating without logic isn't just annoying, it can actually mess up the whole point of the debate. It's like playing a game of chess where one player decides they're going to ignore the rules and just move wherever piece they like anywhere they want. It's not really a game anymore, and it's certainly not fair. Without logic, debates turn into shouting matches or stubborn standoffs where nobody's really listening to the other person. It's like everyone's got their earphones in, blasting their own music, and nobody can hear anything else. Debates are all about sharing ideas, learning new things, and maybe even changing our mind. But to do that, you need logic. Without it, you might as well be shouting into the wind. If someone enters a debate saying, "I'm right because I say so," or they continually push a narrative that has no facts or logic logic backing it, it's like they're playing a completely different game. The cool thing about debates is not just about who's winning, but it's about understanding and learning. And to do that, you've got to have logic in your corner. So the next time you get into a debate, remember to bring your logic along. It's the one tool you can't do without.